Howdy y'all, Moglax Lives. I think it's time to play a little 7 Days to Die. Alright. Now that Death Day is over, I suppose I can work my way back to my stuff. And see how my poor old base held up. Which probably isn't great. And I think this is going to be my new base. Since it's closer to... It really doesn't look like it's that much taller, but I didn't get any zombies around this thing after I came in here. I do, however, need a way out. Alright. Only 1.4 kilometers to jog my way home. So, slowed already. Man, this game needs an auto run button. Does this game have an auto run button? I just need an auto walk button. I've been playing Final Fantasy 14, and it's got auto run, like a lot of or not run, but auto move, like a lot of MMOs I've played. Do you want to come get punched in the face? You did. Well, there you go. That's what you wanted. I helped you out. It's pretty fun. I've been wanting to try it out because I played like all the other Final Fantasy stuff. I think I'm level 21 now. And one of my first group dungeon last night, those unlock at level 15, but I like to do quests, and I'm not like super into collecting every little piece of everything. But if it's there, I'll grab it and go with it. And so I did a lot of other quests than the main storyline quest, and a lot of the stuff is locked behind the main storyline quest. And so, even though the dungeon unlocks at 15, I was like level 20, which doesn't matter so much, I don't think. But, because the game auto levels you down to the appropriate level for things, and I think you get to keep your abilities, so you are more powerful than, like, let's say it leveled me down from 21 to 18, but I still get to keep my level 21 abilities, they're just scaled down, maybe. I don't know, because I didn't hit 21 till after the dungeon. So, that was pretty fun, though. I did so I played in a world class raid guilds back in the day on EverQuest 2 and EverQuest 1, and I don't have the time to do that on Final Fantasy for sure, because that's very intensive. That is a daily commitment for many hours that I don't have to spare anymore. And so I was trying to use some of the tricks that I remember from that, and one of the things I had done was set up a macro, and I guess it's not important in Final Fantasy 14 like I'm used to it being important, and or I'm doing it wrong. I don't know. It doesn't work well, and I really miss the ability to target through your tank, which was a feature in EverQuest 2. Um, that as a DPS caster made your life a lot easier because um, in EverQuest it was important that you target what you're supposed to, and you can't just rando target other things because of how the threats and stuff worked. And so the tank was responsible for picking the target for everybody to attack, and then unless you were assigned a specific target, you just targeted through the tank. Or a lot of times we used two tanks, and so one tank would be targeted on our target, and then the main tank would be targeting the things that needed to be held in place. Um, in EverQuest 2, I was the main tank healer, so I always was targeted on the main tank, and so if you've never played an MMO, I guess some of those words might not necessarily mean that much. But so you get a group of like 24 people in EverQuest 2. Apparently, it's 24 in Final Fantasy 14 as well. Um, and so usually you end up with a group of uh, casters, like magic spell casters, and so that would be your magic DPS, and then or they might be clumped together with like long range bow users and just be called range DPS, depending who you're with, and then because different types of DPS requires different types of support, and so then so you'd want your casters in a group where the buffs, the enhancement abilities that are cast on people, buffs, um, are magic related, and whereas you want your melee, um, which was probably physical, so that probably also included the arrow people, um, would need a different set of buffs, and so you'd end up with a group of magic users, a group of melee, you know, swords and bows and stuff, users, and their support people, like their healer, their enhancement caster people, buff people, and so then for us, we often had what we called the secondary tank group, which was set up a lot like our main tank group, but had a more DPS focused tank. And tank is the heavy armor wearer who stands in the front and takes most of the damage. And so we had a off tank. It was often called the off tank group. So off tank group and their healer or healers, and then they had some very specific DPS types that buffed melee uh, or helped position ads. I was trying to remember. I think it was we used so in EverQuest 2 we used a Shadow Knight and I want to say a brigand. And so it was basically a couple of different people who could take a lot of hits, and then like maybe a couple of healers and a buffer. I don't remember. It's like 6 people in a group, and so oh, my poor. I have to go see what happened to my poor garden. I swear this looks tall. I don't even know how to get up there now, man. They knocked out the central pillar. Why'd you do that? That wasn't nice. I need to go get some more wood to make ladders. And so then the main tank group had 3 healers in it, because EverQuest 2 had 3 different kinds of healers. Maybe we only had 2 healers. There was the direct healer, so they would cast a heal spell and it would heal the tank. And then my class was a warder called a defiler, and it would create shields on the tank that would stop the tank from taking damage. And then there's also the over time healer, and so you could drop an overtime heal, hit it with a shield, and hit it with it being our main tank. You could hit him with our overtime heals from druid. I think it was a druid. Man, it's been so long, I can't remember. It's like 10 years ago. And then I don't even remember who the healers were anymore. I just remember that I was a defiler. It's called a defiler because it was the opposite. EverQuest 2 has a lot of opposites, and so there's the paladin and the shadow knight, right? There's the guardian and the berserker. There's the shaman, who also uses a type of ward, and then the defiler. And so they were like conceptually opposite, not in what they do necessarily, but in theme. So like a shaman, right, works with life and animals, and a defiler works with curses and disease, right? But yeah, so I get in this group last night for the first time, and I'm like, all right, I don't know any of the mechanics for being in a group, and we were already in a Discord chat, so we didn't get into a chat with the guy who got rando placed as our tank, and he clearly had done this before because he just ran right through the whole thing, and we didn't die, so that was good. It only came close one time, our healer said. So that was awesome. And oh, I do have ladders. Wow, I should have looked at my inventory better. And so I try to make an assist macro, which would allow me to automatically target what the tank was targeting to make sure that I was always on the tank's target. And I don't know if I just was doing it wrong or if the macro system is just not great. Because I was just researching online on, I guess I might as well repair all this stuff while I'm standing here. Because I'm looking online at like guides and stuff about making macros, and nobody's using the macros that I imagine that you would need based on my experience from other MMOs. And so I'm starting to think that nobody targets um, the way that I'm used to targeting things. I guess they just hand target, which indicates to me that Final Fantasy XIV is not as intense of a MMO as I am used to, and so maybe I don't need to be so worried about. Maybe tanks in this MMO have a much easier time of keeping aggro. Well, it doesn't look like I lost any of my farm, so that's good. I still think I want to switch to the other location though, especially with the supports all being busted up and gone here. Do I have anything that would be super difficult to transport? Like I know I made all these, and these don't travel well, right? Or do they? Maybe it's the. Let me see. Uh, can I just get this back? Because if I can just get this back, I can't tell. I think I got it back, right? I did. Oh yeah, no. This is easy to move out of. Can I get this back? Okay. No. It doesn't look like this comes back. Okay, this is a workbench. Is there anything special that I need for this? Forged iron, mechanical parts, a wrench, a claw hammer, and some wood. So it doesn't look like it. I know I can do this up easy and just grab those out of there. Actually, no, this isn't necessarily easy to make. Didn't I have to hunt down the bellows to make this thing? Nope, I do want to be in here. If I want to make a forge... Oh no, that's gone. That's not even a thing anymore. Alright, so that's not too difficult to make either. So then I guess what I want to do is I want to grab my nails. 2, 3, 4, 5. And I want to make some storage boxes. And then I will start moving supplies over. So I need to make campfire. And I might as well get this stuff for my forge and get that queued as well. I have plenty of forged iron to make this stuff, so what am I missing for my forge? 10 leather, 3 duct tape. Leather and duct tape right there. Okay. So get that going, and then I need to make a new workbench, which needs mechanical parts, and I've got plenty of those. Workbench. All right. Okay, so let's crawl my way. Do I have a splint in here? I do. Sweet. That'll help. So we'll get down to my bike, and then we'll take my bike over. But yeah, so it's been interesting so far. It's got a pretty good storyline. I'm enjoying the storyline. As I have mentioned. Oh, somebody left a bag of stuff here. As I've mentioned many times, I like a storyline in a game. I keep reading that people don't like they don't like the storyline for the main game. They like the story for the DLCs a lot better, and I'm enjoying the main game storyline. So, um, it's got to be a heck of a storyline in the DLCs. I wonder if it's not because they're like what I noticed was so when you start the game, you pick a pre-class, um, which EverQuest did, so I was familiar with that concept. So I want to play a summoner, right? They summon creatures to help them fight. It's one of my favorite classes in anything. And so Summoner starts as a class called an Arcanist, or Arcanist. Arcanist. I don't know how it's pronounced. Um, and and so then you gotta get to level 30, and then at level 30 you pick whether you're a summoner or a scholar. Scholar, I believe, is a type of healer, and a summoner is what I want to be. And so I pick my Arcanist, and they start in a city called Luminsa something. I don't know, something like that. It's got two L names to it. It's a port city. So then I'm playing with two other guys, and the one wanted to play a black mage. So black mage starts at, I don't know why they have their classes split up, because I don't think many of the classes have more. Summoner might be the only class in the game, Summoner and Scholar, that comes from a single thing. Like the one guy is playing a White Mage, and the pre-White Mage is called a Conjurer. But a Conjurer doesn't become anything other than a White Mage. And a Thaumaturgist doesn't become anything other than a Black Mage. So I don't know why they aren't just Black Mages to start with, or White Mages, or like I think the Marauder turns into the Warrior, but there's nothing else that it turns into. So I don't understand the pre-class concept necessarily the way they've applied it. In EverQuest, as I talked about earlier, every class has an opposite. So, um, in fact, at one point in the game, it wasn't just an opposite, but if you wanted to be a magic spellcaster, then every magic spellcaster started at the same point. And then when you got to like level 10, then you chose your branch of spellcaster. And then once you got to level 20, you choose your specific type of spellcaster. And so this one is a little different, because um, like I really think Arcanist is the only one that splits into two classes. So I don't know what the point of that was. It's weird that you've got one out of all the classes that does that. So, but anyways, the one guy wants to be a black mage, so he starts as a thaumaturgist, I think is what it's called, and he starts in a city called Ul'dah, which is a different city than the one I started in. And then the other guy, he wants to be a white mage, so he starts as a conjurer, and he starts in um, Gridania. So Gridania, Gridania, Luminsa Lumasa, or whatever it is. You'd think I'd know because I just spent so many levels there. Oh yeah, I guess I can't jump up too. I should just knock a hole in the wall. It'd make my life easier. I ain't jumping at all right now because I am overweighted and... Come on, you can do it. And And so we're all in different cities to start with, so we can't even get together because you have to go through your main story quest to which is where all of this discussion started, was the main story quest stuff. So all right. If I come up this ladder here, and we got that building over there, where I know bad guys can come up. So I'm gonna end that. I'm gonna take away their ability to come up that building. But I think I will build out this way. So I'm gonna put down some boxes, I guess, just right here to start with. So we'll just put them. We'll put them right here. All right. So this box is going to be my general items box of stuff. General items box of stuff. So stuff like sand and rocks, oil, bones, clay, nitrate, trees will go in here. Nails would go in here. Short pipe, forged iron. All you guys go in there. I don't know that I'm ready to put down my crafting stuff yet, so I'll put those in there as well, and their parts. Okay, and then this one would be my food. Oh, look, I'm actually hungry and thirsty right now. And then this one would be medical. I don't think I've got anything medical. And then this one would be mods. I don't have any mods on me. And then this one will be my weapons. So the only thing I really need to put in there is my extra bullets and stuff. And then some of this stuff, I guess some of this could go in my food box. Some of this stuff needs to go, oh, and you can go in the weapon box. All right, there we go. All right, so we'll get started here, anyways. So it's interesting or weird or I don't know. You can't travel from city to city when the game starts, um, which is bizarre to me. I am not gonna keep jumping over this stuff, so I'm just gonna go ahead and make a hole. Where did you even come from? You didn't make any noise. That guy didn't even make any noise. Why can't I place a block there? Are you in my way? Seriously? Can I jump off his head? Oh, here we go. Hey, buddy. And so I was working on, because we're gonna play together is the plan, and so we've been only leveling our main class while everybody's on, so we can all stay, in the same level ranges. And so can I just jump that high though? Yeah. Okay. And then I'm gonna poke a hole through here as well. I wonder if I should like go down over here and poke the hole, and then that way it's not right across from my ladder. And then we'll mark it with a little pillar so I know where it's at. Um, and so, we are, however, working on other classes. And so, one of the things I do find rather weird with the game is that you're locked in your starter city, basically, until you get through a certain point in the story missions. But what if you don't want to play, like some people don't like to play the combat side of an MMO. Some people just like to be crafters. And so it's a little weird to me that you have to be um, like around level 15, 18, somewhere in there, um, as a fighter type, whatever, spellcaster, whatever you want to be. But you have to be as one of the combat types, um, to be able to move between cities. And so I'm doing like the blacksmith quest, right? I'm like a level, I think it's like a level 12 or level 14 summoner or arcanist. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to work on classes here that are going to benefit me later. And so you can be all the classes. And so I started working on the blacksmith class. And the blacksmith class makes tools and weapons. So whatever melee or crafter you want to be, the blacksmith makes your tools and your weapons. And so what I really wanted to be was an alchemist, because an alchemist makes the books that a summoner uses. And I like to be able to make my own rare items. And so um, I wanted to be that, but that class starts in Ul'dah, and I can't get to Ul'dah, so I'm blacksmith. So I get to like level 20 blacksmith, right? And every 5 levels you get a class quest. And so my level 20 class quest for blacksmith was like, travel to Ul'dah and do this thing. And I'm like, well, I can't travel to Ul'dah because I haven't unlocked the ability to travel between cities yet in the combat storyline. I'm like, there's like, you can't even like take a boat. You are locked when you're in Lumensa Lumasa. The other two apparently are connected over land, and so you can walk between the cities of Gridania and Gul'dah and Ul'dah. There's no G on that. But Lumensa Lumasa is a port city on its own island, I guess. And they don't give you boat travel until later in your once you're able to go to the other cities, then you can get like I guess boats that travel between the cities. Otherwise, you start in Lumensa Lumasa, you're trapped there until you finish the main story combat story that allows you to travel between cities. So I did think that was a little odd, um, but it's been pretty fun so far. I do feel like it's a little lacking in abilities, which is pretty common in modern games. Um, uh, so I guess just real quick to give an example, I'm level 21. I have 4 attack spells now. 4. And it doesn't sound like you get many more. In EverQuest 2, I had over 100 abilities and items that I kept on my screen Um, and yes, only like maybe 15 of them were necessarily my main attack pattern, but all of them were very situational to what I was working on or casting, and and so it's very odd to me how little abilities modern MMOs have. Because is there like a just take all? There we go. Just take it all. And so it's I'm used to, you know, in MMOs, I prefer the massive amounts of abilities to nothing because I feel like there's just more variety. And so like my EverQuest 2 summoner uh had like specific types of spells, so fire spells, ice spells, lightning spells, and maybe another class in this game has that. Like maybe a black mage has all the different elements, but every ability that a arcanist summoner has is unaspected. So I have a spell, and it looking over the guides, it doesn't sound like it gets more than a couple of spells. And I'm just like, man, I'm gonna miss the giant catalog of spells because in EverQuest you get at least an ability every level. So I should have over 20 abilities at this point. And I've got 4 attack spells and a couple of buff spells, and I probably have around 15, so it's probably comparable, but it feels like I should have more spells, I guess. Anyways, this has gone on long enough, so be better than the small things, lean to the light, and I will talk to you later.